All right, this is Brandon Tatum, and I love Brandon. Me and Brandon have been friends for a long time. Me and Brandon came up together in the early Turning Point days. This is Brandon just talking about, and then also, Todd, while this is playing, I want you to go to Brandon Tatum's page. He has a clip where he was at Turning Point on Charlie's show just yesterday,
Okay.
talking about the grifters of this whole thing. So while this is
Got it.
playing, let's, because I want that next. All right, let's play this.
Got it.
Why all of a sudden conservatives are so anti-Semitic and so brainwashed? It's not about the anti-Semitism part of it as much as it is that they're brainwashed. When have conservatives ever just fallen for things that they fall for as it relates to Hamas? We would never accept this in any other way. No, we would never accept a terrorist group. Like, for instance, show me any of these right-wing, like Netanyahu call them the woke Reich, and I call them woke Reich too. But show me any of them that were happy that the ceasefire was initiated. This was supposed to be a peace and end of genocide. Our God did it. The God we voted for did it. He negotiated peace. They wouldn't even post it. They got these people out throwing bricks on their legs, taking them out, shooting them and killing them. There's reports that they're taking media personalities into hospitals and they're interrogating them and they're never seen again. Why aren't anybody on the right saying anything about this? To me, it's a spiritual divide between good and evil. And there's good on this side and there's evil on the right and the left on this side. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's a prominent figure said this on their podcast not too long ago, is that they are starting to agree with the left. And this is a chance for the left and the right to come together against Israel.
I love that last part. And again, this is my stance. I want to be very clear for everybody. I do not make peace with evil in any regard. There is no unity for me with the left. There's none. My goal is to defeat them every day until the good Lord changes their heart. And then here's the thing. If the Lord changes their heart, they will no longer be on the left. They will come to the right.
Well, no. Where's the middle ground? And understand the concept of this. Like, where do you think the middle ground is with evil? In order to find middle ground with evil, you have to give up some of your morals and biblical foundations and truths to find middle ground right now with this evil that's going on in the country right now. So you can find middle ground if you want to, but I'm not giving up, not your truth, my truth. I'm not giving up God's truth, and I'm not giving up my morals in order to sympathize with you. Not going to happen.
So this is Brandon again talking about people grifting off of this investigation. Now, Brandon, for those of you who don't know Brandon's history, Brandon was an Arizona police officer for many years for all this. So Brandon has a very specific thing about investigating crimes, going to court, having to testify about the crimes and all of this. Listen to this. We're going to play it in its entirety because it's powerful. Let's play it.
I do have a lot of grace because a lot of people out there are not investigators. They don't have a law enforcement background, and they love Charlie, and they want to get truth. They want to get justice. So I do have a lot of grace. I understand why there's distrust, but please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. This stuff is very simple. All you have to do is have some type of experience like I do. I was trained on investigating. I investigated crimes myself. I testified in court. And you have that, plus you have wisdom, and you're reasonable, and you believe in God. So then you have godly wisdom in how you should articulate or put out information or disseminate information to the people that God has given you that follows you. And like you said, Andrew, I understand that people are hurting and people are looking for answers and people don't know what they're talking about a lot of the times, and they're doing it in good faith, but they're just lost. It's like almost every police shooting that I cover. A lot of people don't understand use of force policy. They don't understand the law. They don't understand how the law is prosecuted. And so they are off on it, even though they have good intentions. Now, there's a difference between someone who's off on it in good faith with good intentions versus someone who know better and just out there spewing hatred and stupidity because they want to get clicks and subscribe robbers.
He's talking
and make
about
money off of
Candace
it.
right
That
there.
is the
Just
difference. That is the
FYI.
difference between the anger point for me is that if somebody just don't know, I get it. I mean, people don't understand investigations, but then people who should know better that's saying it is the ones that bother me the most. This stuff is very simple. You're like, if you really want to know what's going on in the case as a civilian person, right? We don't have access to records that they submitted to court. We don't have text messages. We haven't, none of these people that are out here talking has interviewed anybody, witnesses, suspects, parents. They have no evidence. They didn't look at forensics, so they have no idea what they're talking about. However, if you, as a civilian person, if you want to know or get a synopsis of what could happen and what evidence they may have, read the affidavit. Read the probable cause statement that was submitted to court. When you write a probable cause statement as a law enforcement agency, you cannot lie or deceive or put information in that's not true. Because when you get to trial and they have the initial hearing, if you don't have evidence to what you've said, which you've sworn under penalty of perjury, that is true, your case is completely thrown out. And you cannot convince me somebody like Kesh Patel and those guys are willing to throw away their entire career and legacy to botch the most important case of our lifetime.